Let's give this a shot. Boom. So I really didn't want to make this video and I wasn't sure how it would come across, but it was something that came up in my head last night and I really wanted to talk about it. Pretty much what I realized growing up, I had no Asian role models. And this was kind of a strange thought. I noticed it when the new Shanghai movie from Marvel came up. What the fuck is that movie called? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I didn't really have any Asian superheroes to look up to, and that kind of affected me in strange ways that I'm still processing today. I think it's absolutely brilliant that we have a movie full of Asian people and they're the main roles. I think that's gonna be super cool for the kids growing up. I grew up in Colorado and I was like one of the 5 Asian kids in the entire state. Obviously, that is a joke. There's probably more, probably like 10 of us. Growing up, I was a very outspoken Asian kid, and I think a lot of people were taken back by this, and especially due to the fact that I didn't have an accent in school. I had a very hard time kind of standing up for myself. It's almost as if like people didn't take me seriously due to the fact that I was Asian. I remember thinking, I don't know, maybe I should revert back to the stereotypical Asian behavior because it seems like talking out and being extroverted isn't really working out for me. I don't see it in movies and I don't see it anywhere else or in media, and I didn't really have any Asian role models that were outspoken and confident. A lot of them kind of put their head down and worked and were silent. I had an older brother, but he was an introvert, so I didn't really have that going on for me. I remember going into school, and this is when things kind of started getting real. I remember it was like Halloween, I was like 7 years old, and I dressed as Batman. And a kid named Fat Jimmy told me, "You're not Batman." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Well, Batman isn't Asian, so you're a fraud, you're a fake Batman." And to my point of view, I was like, "Great observation, Fat Jimmy. You'll probably die from obesity at 23. I didn't say that. I'm being a little harsh on him, but he did call me a chink, so there's that. So this was like another fact, is like when you try to become a superhero of your own life, when you didn't really match the portrayed behaviors in the media, a lot of people were taken back by that and wouldn't take you seriously and thought you were faking it. I remember another story growing up. I went to this Asian church, and looking back, this is super sad. It was around Christmas time, and they would always have someone dressed up as Santa giving us money and gifts and toys for Christmas, and I think that's really awesome. But the thing was, he was Vietnamese, and I remember showing up at church and thinking, who the hell is this guy? This is Vietnamese Santa Claus. You're not the real Santa Claus. Who are you? Where's the real one? The real Santa Claus is this fat white guy who drinks PBR, and I don't know who the hell you are. I remember all the kids made fun of him saying, "You're not Santa Claus, you're Asian Vietnamese Santa Claus." This kind of reminds me of 21 Jump Street of Korean Jesus, but it was just super sad and I'm laughing at it. That guy went out of his way to dress up for the kids and give us gifts and kind of promote joy. And all of us were roasting him, telling him that he wasn't Santa Claus because he was Asian. And this is how it's so messed up, because it's so ingrained in my head of what is real and what is tangible for me to become. And I feel like a lot of Asian people suffer from this, right? For myself, I didn't really meet too many extroverted Asians. I grew up in Colorado, and there was literally no Asian population. I was the only Asian kid in my class, and it was not until I was 18 in college where I first met my Asian friend. That's how detached I was from the Asian population. I just remember going to movies and everything, and you'd see all these amazing main characters, these protagonists, slaying their demons and going on this journey. But they were all white or a different race. And when there was an Asian, it was always this nerdy, quiet kid who always got picked on and bullied, never spoke up for himself, and he was always quiet. He was always the side guy. He was like the side chick of the movies. And this was so disappointing. And I realized in 2021, things are changing. And I think that's really brilliant for the kids growing up, because they have this role model that I didn't have. And it affects you in strange ways that you don't realize. I feel like a lot of Asians suffer from self-doubt because you all have these established routines and culture and stereotypes that you need to abide by. And when you separate from it, you get a lot of hate and criticisms for acting out. It's just strange for me. I just never really saw any confident, outspoken Asian people or individuals, and it affects me to this day, and it always made me feel like an anomaly. But at some point I realized I need to keep on acting this way, going out and breaking these stereotypes, because there might be another Asian kid one day looking up to me and realize he can do the same thing. Another great example was I was the only Asian kid on the lacrosse team or in the lacrosse championship in Colorado. I never saw another Asian playing lacrosse in Colorado. That's just how indoctrinated I became. And, I worked out. I was the captain of my lacrosse team, but I just feel like there was this disrespect. Just some people didn't take it seriously just because they had this perceived image of who I was before I even spoke. And I remember going to college telling people I went to Cal Poly, and people just said, oh, engineering or computer science. That was just another great example of me realizing, damn, people have a lot of these perceived notions of who I am before I even open my mouth. And, I know a lot of Asians typically go to STEM or business, but not all of them. I went to liberal arts. I majored in psychology and realized I was the only male, let alone Asian male, in my major. It was mainly female dominated. And I realized a lot of Asians don't really go into liberal arts due to the pressures from their family and friends that it's not a high paying job and they will be a disappointment to the family. Luckily, I had very supportive parents and family members that told me to do what I enjoyed, and I ended up just fine. So if you're watching this and you're an Asian kid, the same age or older, and you struggle with confidence issues, just realize it's not entirely your fault. I feel like it's a lot of the media and propaganda that's been shown to us from a very young age. So it's normal to question yourself, but I need to let you know that you're capable of being the main character, being courageous and confident, and being outspoken and a leader. I know you're gonna do well, and I hope this was helpful. Namaste.